Hey, my name's Jason Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about what's the chance of stamp duty actually getting abolished. You see, the budget is just round the corner, and this week the government have invited in some very influential people in the property world to discuss options and what they could do to get the property market moving again. It's no secret that stamp duty is slowing down the property market. After that massive increase in stamp duty that we saw in April, the property market just hasn't really recovered since then. In this video, I want to talk about who has been with the government this week, what their proposals are, and what the expectations are for stamp duty going forward in 2026 and beyond. Now, if you're new around here and you haven't done before, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We've just hit 51,000 subscribers. And by subscribing, you'll get all the latest house price news, interest rate news, property investing tips, and much, much more. And while you're here, let's make sure we get some more views on this video. Your part in that is very simple. All you need to do is smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and that really has helped the channel grow. So thanks to everyone that does that. So, two influential people. It's more than that, but the two main people that have been into the government this week is Richard Donnell. You might not know who he is, but he's from Zoopla. He heads up Zoopla. And Kirsty Allsop, the TV host. Now, they've been brought in to talk about stamp duty because the government, careful what I'm going to say, I was going to say they're not stupid. You might disagree in the comments on that one. But they can see that the property market has really substantially slowed down. I mean, we had that stamp duty increase. So in January, February and March, the property market was just super busy, wasn't it? We had 500,000 transactions in January, February, March. And then since then, we're only expecting another 500,000 transactions for the rest of the next 9 months, which is a marked slowdown. And right now, the country is divided. So the south of England, the market is slow. I did a video this week on the hotspots. Newcastle is crushing it. Houses are selling really fast in Newcastle. In some areas, 26 days is all it takes to sell a property. Whereas in the southwest, it takes over 101 days to get a buyer for your property. So that's a massive difference in the speed of selling your property. In London, the market is so quiet. 26 new build properties were sold in June. Imagine, we haven't had July, August, September, October data yet. It could be even quieter than that. We don't know for certain yet, but we do know it's slow. The southeast is very slow as well because transactions aren't really happening on things above 500 grand because you potentially got stamp duty changes coming in there. So Richard and Kirsty, they're speaking with the MPs and they're talking about what could we do. And the suggestion from a lot of smart people is we should just get rid of stamp duty because it's a massive upfront cost and it really does slow down the property market. There's more people falling into that stamp duty levels now. And that could add for just a fairly modest property in the southeast, 7 to 10 grand to your property transaction. You've got to have that on top of your deposit and all of that sort of stuff. So Zoopla is saying that this is just stopping people moving. Right now, the economy is slow. If you have lots of property transactions happening, let's just say we got the property market up from 1 million sales in a year to 1.5 million sales in a year, then there would be so much more work for builders and that spreads around the economy. There'll be more work for solicitors, removal companies. It just gets the economy going again. But here's the problem that they discussed. The government get 11 billion every single year from stamp duty at the moment. And so that would need to be replaced. And so Zoopla were arguing with some stats that saying, look, you would get that back by more VAT payments, just by getting the economy moving at the moment. Because right now, unemployment's rising. We've got 5% unemployment. It's up from 4.8 or whatever it was. So it's getting worse. You've got to do something to get Britain, the economy going. And right now, the government is doing tax, death by 1,000 cuts. That isn't going to get the market moving anymore. So in the south, people aren't moving. In the north, people are moving. But stamp duty needs reform. And the recommendation from Kirsty and the recommendation from Richard is get rid of it. Just abolish it. Maybe even if it's just for a short time. Get the market moving. What was also discussed was the mansion tax. So the mansion tax is a tax on any property above £2 million. Now, this isn't at time of sale. They're talking about having this mansion tax on people that already own their properties. And the tax could be huge. If you have a £6 million property, you could be paying 40 grand a year in tax. Now, a lot of people will easily say, well, that's fair. People that are rich and live in these expensive houses should pay. But what about if you bought a little flat in Chelsea 50 years ago? You didn't know that that was going to be the prime area of London and that that would be really valuable. But because it's only a 2-bedroom flat, you can afford it. You can afford the council tax. The gas and electric don't cost much because it's not a particularly expensive property to heat and look after. And there's not lots of maintenance because it's been looked after over the years. How would that person suddenly afford 40 grand a year? And is that fair? I don't think it is. And you're penalising people that have done well historically, and they might be asset rich. Now, Richard from Zoopla was saying the mansion tax would be just a no-go. It just wouldn't work. And the reason for that is that houses above £2 million, they come in all shapes and sizes. And so they can be quite hard to value. And to give you an example here, if you've got a 500 grand house, a lot of you can picture in your head what that might look like. Where I live, a 500 grand house is a 3-bedroom semi-detached house. That's the sort of property you would get there. And so most 500 grand houses in that area look fairly similar. They've got the same sort of size. But when you go above £2 million, the square footage can change massively. And they can be all different shapes of sizes. They can have acres of land or not a lot of land. They could be in a city or not. And it's just too many variables that make the valuer really hard. And they're saying that it'll just get contested so much. It would just be a nightmare to implement. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the budget in a week or so. But what is also important is the fact that they're having these conversations. They are getting people in to discuss about what they should do about stamp duty. So it gives us a slimmer of hope that potentially something positive could happen. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Do you think that they'll listen to Zoopla or Kirsty and get rid of stamp duty and get the market going again? I think they should, but I don't think they should replace it with a property tax. I think they should look at generating revenue in other areas. Do smash like, do subscribe, and check out all the other content as well on our channel, including this video right here.